Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing, testing. Hello, everyone. Bravehearts, Urbanites, Coach Mad Hatters. Are you there? Who's out there? So I am popping in real quick to adhere to the first installment of our conversation with cards. And so 5 cards we will be exploring in a full conversation that struck me. It really struck me. Okay, so card number 1, the hangman. Card number 2, 9 of cups. Card number 3, 8 of wands. Card number 4, the fool. Card number 5, the queen of wands. So right off the cuff, if I honestly had something to lead this magic memo to usher it in, I would say that the fool's journey is about the process of newness. Inside of any journey, it splits in two. There's the knowing and there's the doing. And so, right at the beginning, right before you take step 1, to be in contemplation. So the hangman speaks a lot about, as a matter of fact, let's just get the tarot encyclopedia out and see, make sure I stay on course with this thing. And so the hangman being amongst the major arcana, with it being the first card out, means it's really strong. The message is really strong with regards to making sure that we pack our patience and we do the sincere consideration of choosing the most optimal opportunities. And this is interesting for me because as I am prepping for 2022 and also the first week of January will be my 50th year as an earthling inside this lifetime. So I'm entering, well, I've already done my first year dealing with my Chiron return. So your Chiron return is between the ages of 49 and 51. So come January, I'll be entering into my second year of my Chiron return. And I've been taking meticulous journal notes with regards to this journey. Very, very peculiar journey. But I still feel like I'm inside of this beginner's mind. It has not set in just yet that I am at the brink of my sophomore year with this, especially with regards to self-discovery and intuitive study and just serving as my own coach, my own tutor, my own teacher, my own counselor. And so, in my opinion, this is what the hangman is all about. And so in here it says the hangman represents new perspective, letting go of what no longer is in alignment, time for meditation, adapting to change, identifying limitations, And so let's see. So trying to make sure there's another one just to make sure because it feels like I'm missing something. Yeah, so contemplation, patience, endurance, devotion, acceptance, reframing perspective. So yes. So with that being the first card of the spread, it feels very attuning. I've been using that word a lot. Rhythm and reason as well. So I've been in this context, or I've been exploring. Nope, that's not even the right way to say that. I seem to be attracting the clues and the cues around rhyme and reason. So back when I was younger, my mom used to always say something in the context of a rhyme and a reason. And it seemed like she lived by that. So if it didn't rhyme or, it didn't make sense to her, she wasn't with it. You like make it make sense. so so leading with the hangman, it feels good to me. It feels good. So 9 of Cups, it's all about the goodness and the satisfaction of one's emotions. Also, what I've been attracting is identifying or better yet, highlighting the power to define. And I'm noticing several contradictions around what we would consider positive and negative, or light and dark. And when you look at it through a mainstream lens, it always gives this twinge of good or bad, or righteous or evil. And so I've been challenged to see it in the realm of energy, as I always do, but a certain type of energy where I am constantly being reminded that it takes positive and negative currency in order for the battery to work. And I say that often. I've said it often. It is my go-to when I need to quickly gain the understanding and not get sucked into the conditionings of positive and negative being synonymous with good and evil. I've even taken myself a little further with challenging myself to refer to it being satisfactory or unsatisfactory versus good or bad, because negative charge does not mean bad, not in any kind of way. But the more and more I get into investigating my own unique individuation processing and the way I define the world and all of the various lens that this world can be viewed through, I continue to be challenged to change the frequency by which I speak about things. Today is the full moon in Gemini. So, in conjunction with knowing this, as well as the characteristics or the archetypal characteristics around Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So at this moment, with the Eight of Wands being at the center of the spread, card number 3, it is telling me that I am to continue on this journey of being mindful of how I utilize my words. Wise words are the asset to a Gemini. And so my Saturn is in Gemini, 0 degrees. I am still in awe at all that I am finding out with regards to this small, well, it's not really a small component, but this seemingly small component of me, just being at awe at where Mercury or its sub agencies are connected and flow all through me. I am a correspondent, I'm a communicator, I'm an expressionist. So words mean a great deal to me. Wise words are priceless to me. And I know there are folks in the world that would try to minimize or deflect from the powers of words. But if they were to take just a moment to really truly think about it, honestly, empires have been built, civilizations have been led astray. You can talk yourself in and out of love, like all kinds of things, all kinds of happenstances unfold all on the whim or the whimsical utilization of words. Now, of course, there is intent and motive and action and behavior that surround such words. And there are also other avenues by which one can express itself or communicate with others. But usually, words, whether it's for good or for ill, can get the job done. So with this card being smack dab in the middle, it makes me feel like it's the heart of the message, the heart of this particular installment of our magical memo series. And it tells me, okay, so even though we may have to come in swiftly with whatever it is that we must communicate, as long as we make sure that it is along the lines or in alignment to that which we honestly want to communicate, making sure that what we want to convey lands properly, I think then we will be um, the benefactors of this magic memo. Fourth card out is the Fool, beginner's mind. You're at the brink of something. We're at the brink of something. We are embarking upon something. We're preparing to embark upon something. Usually, no matter how much you plan, there are still pockets of uncertainty that we must be okay with. We must be open to. And that truly is more easier said than done. But you inch yourself towards it, situate yourself around it, even if you have to slowly hold his hand. All is part of progression. All is part of that fool like energy. Of course, all depending on where you're situated in society, the term fool is not always is not always referred to in the best light. Another thing, as I said, I'm being challenged with how I define things. And the more and more I get into tarot as a form of meditation, as a sacred meditative tool, I am learning the backdrops and the deeply rooted definitions around certain words. Just real quick sidebar. So my birth name, Thea, it is after the Greek goddess. Okay. Now, somewhere in there, in researching the definition of Thea, I found out that Uri, Eury, is in conjunction with the meaning, all depending on who's telling the story. So researching a little bit further, and I find out that, and I always want to call it I always want to call her Eurydice, but I know that's not what it is, but that's what I'm going with because that's the way that my heart wants to pronounce it. But she was the wife of Odysseus. Now, I looked up Odysseus in the dictionary, in my regular college edition dictionary. And so she's in there and it tells all about how she was uh, taken to the underworld, bitten by a snake, taken to the underworld, and hold on, let me see, just real quick, real quick. Just want to make sure that I get it right because and all of this had taken place this morning. So let's do this real quick. That. Interesting. Okay. So did I say you okay? So sorry, getting all the names wrong. So Orpheus. Hold on. This is crazy. You would think that I had would have been a little bit more prepared, but the thing about this, I wasn't really going to talk about this. So just give me a second.
Perfect wedding, the guests thought.
So let's see.
The groom was Orpheus,
Orpheus,
the greatest of all poets and musicians.
So Orpheus.
The bride, Eurydice.
Eurydice. Okay. So like I said, I want to call her Eurydice. Okay. So Eurydice and Orpheus. So I found out about Orpheus through the depiction of Black Orpheus, which is the African American tale based off of Greek mythology, and which was based off of ancient mythology. Okay. So somewhere in this circle is the meaning of my name and the Titan goddess that I have the namesake of, and how she is the goddess of light, the dawn, the sun, and the moon, and all of that good stuff. So just pulling out certain characteristics just to better understand the power behind the name Thea. And I say all of this to say that I am forever embarking upon a fool's journey, a journey of a beginner's mind, and just slowly but surely patchworking certain things that will continue to season this thing that I like to call awareness. Some people like to call it consciousness, and some people like to call it intellect. And honestly, I think it's a variation of sorts. There, like I say, rhymes and rhythms, reasons, rhymes, rhythms, reasons. And it spills perfectly into the last card, which is the Queen of Wands. And so I'm definitely going to read from the book. With regards to her characteristics. So the Queen of Wands is confident, she's self-motivated, she carries enthusiasm and solid determination. She is considered a very fertile creature. She's independent in her courage, as well as her energy and her creative passions. I have a second companion definition that I'm going to add to it. So the Queen of Wands is dedicated, engaging, and attractive. She is always cheerful and upbeat. Her presence exudes confidence. She can handle anything and anyone. Now remember, when we are consulting the card, especially when we are talking about seeking a magic memo, all of it is based around the intrapersonal developmental basis, the self-discovery basis. So when I am speaking about the consulting with the cards or any magical memo, it has nothing to do with anyone outside of you. This is all about relationship with self. Always, I am talking about relationship with self. The individual knows how to engage in its relationships with others. And even if it doesn't, it'll find out. I show up to exclusively speak about the relationship with self, self-discovery, the individuation process. So if one was to view these energies even with the card showing up as the Queen of Wands, it's more so speaking about the feminine energy that dwells within every single human on the planet. It is not speaking about anything related to one's physical gender. So, feminine frequency has everything to do with creativity, receptivity, the inward components of one's existence. So, as a coin, each individual, each human being is like a coin. It has a light side, it has a dark side. The light side is the outer side, which is projected towards the sun. The inner side, that's the dark side, which is projected towards that thing which created you. And it goes by many names. And I honestly cannot split hairs with whatever it is you believe. That's the part I'm talking about. That's the collective unconscious. That's the divine that is connected to you from the inside. And no matter what genre of knowledge you refer to, the more and more you seek, the more and more you will find out that that dark inner part is considered feminine. It's the part that receives, it's the receptiveness of one's existence. And so I think I'm going to leave it there. It's enough to mull over for our first installment. And so I have not put this installment, it's not officially on the calendar. So I'm not sure when I will circle back to do another installment. Remember, rhyme and reason, rhyme and reason. I think that might be the theme for 2022, even if it's just for me and my interpersonal developmental cycles. So yeah, it's been real. Thanks for hanging out with me. I wish you well.